In 1879, an 18-year-old Filipino student named Jose Rizal penned a poem that would echo through centuries. La Juventud Filipina, to the Filipino youth, was written during the time when the Philippines languished under over 300 years of Spanish colonial rule. Rizal was studying at the University of Santo Tomas when he submitted this poem to a literary contest sponsored by the Liceo Artístico Literario de Manila. His work, composed in flawless Spanish, won the first prize, a silver pen shaped like a feather with a gold ribbon. But this was more than just a student's literary flight. It was a revolutionary act. At the time, Spanish authorities viewed Filipinos intellectually inferior, Indianos in need of guidance. Rizal poems directly challenged this narrative. In elegant verses, he called upon the Filipino youth to lift up your radiant brow and break the heavy chain that had long bound to the Filipino spirit. The poem's most famous line is, "Ang kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan. The youth is the hope of the motherland," was not just inspirational poetry, it was a political statement declaring that Filipinos, not their colonizer, held the key to the nation's future. Rizal's motivation was clear. He believed that education and enlightenment will liberate his people. As he wrote in another work, "Through education, the country received light." This was a direct challenge to the colonial system that kept Filipinos subjugated through ignorance. The poem emerged during a period of growing Filipino consciousness. The ilustrados, educated Filipino like Rizal, were beginning to question the Spanish rule. They read forbidden books, discuss reform, and dream of a Philippines free from the colonial oppression. Rizal wrote the Filipino youth during what he called the grandeur days of his life. But even in his youth, he understood the power of word to inspire change. He was planting seeds that would grow into the revolution. But what does the poem written in 1879 have to say to us today? Everything. Rizal's call to the youth echoes through 21st century Philippines with renewed urgency. Today's Filipino youth face different battles, but the need of their brilliance, courage, and leadership remain unchanged. Consider the state of education today. The 2023 State of Philippine Education Report reveals that only 35% of Filipino aged 25 and above complete secondary education, and just 24.4% earn a bachelor degree, while 49% of the wealthiest Filipino reach higher education. Only 17% from the poorest do. Rizal believed that education was the key to the national liberation. Yet today, quality education remains inaccessible to many. When Rizal wrote "Break the Heavy Chain," he could not have imagined that the 21st century chain would be include poverty, inequality, systemic barriers to learning. But the youth are rising, just as Rizal urged. Today's Filipino youth are using social media to organize protests, demand accountability, and advocate for change. Young activists like those in the student-led protest against the anti-terrorism law or the Save the Pasig River movement are leading on Rizal's vision. As 20-year-old student journalist Jerica Masbilino declared, "Hindi kami ang kinabukasan ng bayan dahil kami ang ngayon na bayan. We are not the future of the country, we are the country now." Rizal wrote of the youth potential to drive bitter, mortal pain away. Today, we see this young healthcare worker who became the frontliner heroes during the pandemic. Modern day, bayani who risked in their lives for the other. We see it in the overseas Filipino work, many young who sacrifice separation from family to support loved ones back home. Rizal himself experienced the exile and longing. and his words about the youth holding the power to fix the memory of hope and inspiration still ring true. The issue Rizal addressed colonial mentality, education inequality, the struggle for national identity persists in a different form. Social media has created new platforms for self-expression, but also new challenges: misinformation, online harassment, and the pressure of curated digital existence. Rizal's poems remind us that the youth is the greatest power of their idealism and willingness to dream for a better world, and their courage to act on those dreams.
Hold high your faultless brow, Filipino youth, on this day ground. Shine forth and replenish now. In gallant glory stand, handsome home, my motherland. Radiant genius, arise, make thy noblest dream his own. Catch his mind in keen surprise, swifter by the tempest blown. Swept him up to the glorious throne. Descend, O youth, the lovely light of art and science in your train. On life's arena, smite and break the heavy chain where your long pinion poetry hath lain.
Jose Rizal's words have traveled across centuries. They remind us that the youth are not merely the future, they are the present. They are the ones who must break the heavy chain of injustice, whether colonial or modern. Rizal's vision remains our challenges: to educate, to dream, and to act. The Filipino youth then and now remain the hope of the motherland.